so we're going to start out, and you've seen these points mostly when we talked about sinus and headache. So first one, let's take our two fingers, our pointer finger and third finger, and put them right in the center of our forehead between our eyebrows. Right between the eyebrows is the third eye point. And just press lightly. Breathe in and out. And today I'm just going to count to 8 on most of these pressing of points, just to give you an idea of what to do at home. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some people who know that this has a rather spiritual nature, the third eye, like to make kind of a prayer position with their hands, a little bit like a pyramid, and join their thumbs like that, and press their 2 index fingers against that point. So that has a very prayerful quality to it. I like that too. All right, so that is the third eye point. That's especially good if you have sinus problems. Like, remember, we're talking about colds and flus. So if you have sinus problems, if you have, let me see, headache, even coughing, because a lot of times coughing causes headaches. Okay, now we're gonna go down to the face. Remember this was called drilling bamboo. You take your thumbs and press upward toward the bone above your eyes, right in the corner, and a little bit pressing against the bone of the nose. This has a wonderful lifting feeling to it. It's really helpful for me when I have a headache, and also for sinus, because there are sinuses right behind these eyebrows here in the cheek area. This is kind of called a raccoon mask here. So I'd like to extend this and press all along the bone toward the temples. So with your thumbs, press outward now against the bone above the eyes. Gently, of course, you don't want to damage that really delicate tissue, and end up at the temples. A little restful rotation there. And we'll do it one more time. Start with drilling bamboo, thumbs against the bone above your eyes, against your nose. Press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now press, and this time actually, let's take our index fingers and third fingers and use them above the eyebrows to pinch as we go along. Pinch the eyebrows. Oh, I have a little visitor. Hello. How are you? She came all the way from her cage. Okay, and you can actually take your fingers and just press and drag along your eyebrows. I don't know about you, but this feels really good. I think probably because I'm frowning a lot right now before the election, wrinkling my forehead, and it feels good. All right, so that's drilling bamboo. Now, if you have a cold or sinus symptoms, she's the same color as my blouse, right? Okay, these points right here are called welcome fragrance, which makes sense, right near your nose. So these are called the nasolabial lines. And right at the top of that line, right beside each nostril, you press into the line and then a little bit toward your nose. So my voice will sound a little bit like Daffy Duck. And we breathe. And then you'll notice that you're right near the cheekbones here. So if I turn my fingers and go under the cheekbone like this, I can also use my thumbs under the cheekbones. These are particularly good when you have sinus problems or headaches. So let's start at the welcome fragrance. Index fingers. Wow, that's tender. Or your thumbs. You can switch. You can do whatever works for your body because everybody's a little bit different. And now there is a spot right in front of your ears, and we're just going to rest there for a moment and rotate our fingers. This is actually a digestive point. We haven't talked about it much. But digestion is 70% of your immune system, so it's not a bad point to include. All right, and then just a reminder that as we went along underneath the cheekbones, there was a point called cheek crevice, and it's right underneath the eyes, right underneath the pupil of the eye, underneath the cheekbone. So we got that point, but you might find that if you have sinus problems or a cold, you know, when you're dripping and sneezing and your whole face just feels bloated, right? This point might really be helpful. There's another one, I'm not remembering the name of it, but it's below the outside edge of the eye, right under the cheekbone. So all these cheekbone points are good ones to use when you have a cold. Okay, so that's pretty much the face. Now we're going to go to the back of the neck. You gonna help me with this? All right. So the back of the neck, we have let's see. So first locate the bottom of your skull. Can you hear me when I'm turned around like that?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so locate the bottom of your skull. And first we're going to press the middle, right there, up against the bottom of the skull, the bottom edge. This is excellent for headaches and also for colds and flu. And I like to drag my thumb upward in the center of the back of my head because that's tender as well. There are a lot of points on the head. Okay, now from the center, if you bring your thumbs outward, stay right under the edge of your skull. There are some hollows right below there. See here, there's ropey muscle. I've got something solid, my bird. And here we have a little hollow place. So the hollow places are what you're going for. These are called the gates of consciousness. You're not being helpful right now. Go to your cage. All right. So find those hollows. If you can't find them, it's not really a problem because we can just go all the way underneath from the center out toward the ears. In fact, let's do that right now. Put your thumbs in the center right under your skull and press up. Move toward your ears a little bit, press up, move, press up, move, press up. See, this way you get all those points and you don't have to worry about where they are. Let's start in the center again. Press up under the skull. Press up, press up, press up. And now there are some points right behind the ears, which when you have a cold or a flu may feel very tender. So if you put your hand on the bone of your head right behind your ear, and slide down. There's kind of a hollow place right below your earlobe. Right there. And if you press up toward the skull there, that's called a triple warmer point. And by its name, you can tell it's probably good. It's not probably, it is good for fever. Triple warmer.
Jean?
Yes.
Jean, is that touching the back jaw, that point?
It's very close, right?
Very close.
Right. It's the hollow touches the jaw in the front, and then it touches the skull up at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very painful on my jaw.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, something that I haven't talked about is this master muscle right here where our jaw opens and closes. Dentists are finding that during this time when everything is so tense with COVID and with the election and the government doing crazy stuff, people are grinding their teeth more or just setting their teeth and breaking teeth, and fillings are coming out. But also this muscle is getting sore because people are setting their jaw. So let's just go forward and back in that little point. You can open and close your jaw to find out where that is. Isn't it interesting to find out how your body's put together? It's fascinating, I think. Okay. So those are the face and the neck points. Now we have some chest points, and these are really important. I think I'm going to get this lower down. Okay. There's some chest points that are really good for opening the lungs. And first, I'd like to do a little Qigong movement. It's called Between Heaven and Earth. Chinese medicine considers people to be conduits of energy between heaven and earth, like we started out with, right? So actually, I think I need to stand up. You can stand or sit, whichever works for you. So between heaven and earth goes like this. One hand, you hold the palm facing up, and the other hand is facing down, and you press up really slowly with effort, as if you're going through like molasses or taffy. And when you get to the top, look up at your upper hand and breathe. And slowly lower down. Raise the other hand up until you're right at your belly button, and change hands. Upper hand pressing up toward the heavens, lower hand pressing down toward the earth. Look up at the upper hand and breathe. Toward the center of your body. And switch. Upper hand palm up. Lower hand palm down. Okay, let's make an extra stretch this time. Stretch way up. You're opening up your shoulder. Let your neck kind of move a little bit. Don't tense up. And bring the hands in toward the heart. And last time on this side, we're going to really stretch up extra far. Stretch. Stretching the side of the body. And down. So that's one Qigong exercise that particularly stretches the side of the body, and it, really moves the shoulders. This other one I love because it does everything. It does the neck, and the chest and the torso and the shoulders all at once. It goes like this. Both hands go up and you flip the wrists so that your palms are facing out. So it actually works the wrists too. And now one arm goes back and you follow it with your head. Makes a big circle and comes up and meets the other hand. So I'll go through that again. Starting with your hands down. Your hands go up, facing each other, palms facing, and then flip your wrists so that your palms are facing out. Now, I'm doing my left side. It makes a big circle around to the back, and I watch it with my eyes until it reaches the right hand. And then we do the same thing with the other side. The right hand goes back, big circle, follow with your eyes, really slow so you're not hurting anything, till it reaches the first hand and down. Okay, just stand with your hands at your sides for a minute and feel the energy in your palms. Just from that little movement. If you put your palms together, you might even be able to feel a little ball in between your palms. Boy, I don't know about you, but I feel energized. I feel a lot of energy from that. All right, so we're going to look at the lung points. The lung points are 4 fingers above the armpit crease. So if you'll put one arm out and get your 4 fingers ready, fold in your thumb and put your pinky near the crease, and about 4 fingers up, that's where you're going to find the lung point, but it's also in toward the middle of the body a little bit. And my Qigong teacher, everybody has trouble finding this, says find a tender point, and that's it. That's the way to do it. Find a tender point. So if you feel around underneath your clavicle is your collarbone. Under there are several points that are tender. And when you have a cold, these are wonderful to massage. You can use all your fingers at the same time. You can cross your arms and do both sides at the same time. That's lung point 1. That's where the lung meridian starts. Very important point. And then if you visualize your collarbones going across here, I always kind of go like shrug my shoulders so I can find my collarbones. They're covered up by too much tissue. And then, so that's where my collarbones are. And my sternum is right in the middle. So I want you to thump on your sternum because the thymus is right under there. Hugely important in the immune system. If you just did this every day, like you're sitting at the computer and you have 5 minutes before your next meeting, if you just thump on the thymus, that's a really good thing to do. You can also make noise. It's okay if you feel shy and you don't want to do that with your sound on. It's okay. All right, so now we've established where the sternum is and where our collarbone is, right in the corners, in between that T and the sternum, right in here. Okay, so you come from the collarbones and come down. Oh, there's soft tissue there. And then go in toward the sternum, bone, 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 soft, okay. These are kidney 27, I think. Yeah, kidney 27. The benefit of this one, sore throat and coughing. And lung 1 also, coughing, asthma, congestion. So all lung and respiratory related things. And then C17 is about halfway between the bottom of the sternum and the top. And what I do is I just actually thump all the way down the sternum, and then I know I've hit it. So now we're going to do a funny one. It's called the lion pose in yoga. Has anybody done the lion pose? Yeah. All right. So usually you do this on the floor. We're just going to do this seated. This is for sore throat. And I remember being introduced to this when I was in school at UCLA, and I thought it was the funniest thing. But now here I am teaching you how to do it. So the way that you do this is you put your hands on your knees, spread your fingers wide. Remember, we've talked about these as these are the Jing Welt points. These are the beginning or the end of 6 of the meridians. So they're very important points. And even just doing this, let's do this actually. Let's energize our fingers before we start. Open and close, open and close. So you're stretching all these meridians that come down your arm into your fingers. And let's rub a little bit. And rub the backs of your hands. You can make a C with your hand and go around the wrist. All right. So put your hands on your knees with the fingers spread wide. These are the claws of the lion. Lean forward and then inhale and sit up really tall. And as you breathe out, you stick out your tongue as far down as you can and you look up toward the sky. Ah.